Hello to all my friends out there. It was hot today, but it wasn't 90 degrees, but it was darn hot. So I made some baked chicken. This is my old tried and true chicken. Owie. All I did was I melted margarine in a pan. I dusted the chicken with a tiny bit of flour, and then I put a lot of garlic, salt, and pepper on it, and that makes the best chicken. I used to make this all the time. Let me see if I can show you. I moved my camera around thinking it might be better. Well, it might be worse. Yummy. This would be good with some rice and potatoes, but that's not where I'm going tonight. No. Yummy. Here it is, you guys. Okay, so what I want to make is some clam chowder. I had to take the chicken out. I bought this bag. There was a lot of chicken in this. I like it as no skin and no bones, but I also have a lot of chicken legs in my freezer. I hope everyone is doing okay. And and I know that it's not good out there. And I was thinking, wow, this is the worst time ever. We've got this nasty disease floating all over the country. People can't work. We're like a socialist country. This is the nastiest time ever. This is really, really nasty and awful. We're all stuck in the house, and the kids can't get outside and even play. And all the poor little kids with dysfunctional homes or, no yards. It's horrible. And then, when my husband died, the minister said, he will speak to you through your memories. And he really does, you guys. And what popped into my mind was Vietnam. And I go, oh yeah, that was really bad. That wasn't so long ago. Let's take a look at a little walk down memory lane. Vietnam actually lasted 19 years. Some people have a short memory. My husband was a paratrooper in the 101st Airborne, and he got back in one piece, which was a miracle. On his same block, Kenny, hi Kenny if you're out there, and I mean it made for a hard life. He was shot in the ankle. Barney died of Agent Orange, and eventually the Agent Orange got my husband as well, my ex-husband. And just recently his devoted girlfriend of 30 years died too, which was really horrible. But the Vietnam War was 47 years ago. And then 67 years ago, then it popped into my mind, don't forget about the Korean War. My dad was in the Korean War. That was 67 years ago. And then Pearl Harbor was 77 years ago. And I thought, wow, and they attacked us on our American soil, plus don't forget 9/11. So a lot of people are going, this is the end of the world, this is it, the Lord is coming. No, this is just, we got to deal with these people. And another thing is, I don't like calling it our pandemic. The Chinese spread it all over the world. And now we all got to deal with it, and all the Americans are suffering, and so is everybody else. It's horrible. It's really horrible. But it's like anything else. This has been going on since the first of the year. Oh, that's nothing. The Vietnam War went on for 19 years, just to put it in perspective. Not to be a pessimist, but let's just put it out there. Okay, so now I want to show you. Okay, so I'm making the yogurt. I'm making the bread starter so that I can bake my own bread. It's cheaper. I'm making yogurt. What else am I making? while I'm making yeast to make my bread. And the thing about this yeast is, in a pinch, it could be substituted for dairy. So look how good my yeast looks. This is just since this morning. It'll be all ready to make into some tasty bread. And what I used a half a cup. I used the recipe that I kind of adapted. Anyway, it smells really good too. Also, they say after 4 or 5 days, a liquid will form on the top, and you can drink it like alcohol. So, you know, that might be important to know, but you can also use it as a bread starter, like beer bread. I don't see why not. So, let me give you the starter recipe in case you don't have it. I hope you guys can see this. I put 1/2 cup flour, and the way I did it, now, and I'm getting the hang of this, I had 1/2 cup warm water, and then I put 1 tablespoon sugar, and then I put the yeast, and then I stirred the flour so it was equal parts flour and water. You can use any amount. And I stirred it together really good, just like hair color. And then I put 1 potato in. And that makes a good starter, and so I can make bread tomorrow and then the next day, or I could add 1/4 cup flour and water tomorrow, and probably it would generate more. The guy who did the original video says it only lasts 4 to 5 days. So now, here is the video, the original. Watch this and really, really learn this video because you might need it. Quick and easy sourdough starter recipe, Cowboy Ken Rollins. And then I'm doing the exercise. This is why I was thinking of the poor little kids. I bet they have some exercises on YouTube for the kids, you know, fun ones. If not, maybe one of you. 30-minute Get Fit indoor walking workout for women over 50, and the channel is Fabulous 50s. So I want to encourage you guys to try it. Okay, so yesterday I mentioned to you that I worked in salons, and the people that I worked with had way more money than I did, and yet they would be living at such a low standard of living. Well, if you saw my video yesterday, I made a whole bunch of cheap food. My son and I ate it again today. And now that brings us to this point. And so what the point of that was, I don't know what they were doing. I think they were going to the casino. But they weren't doing what I was doing. And all I was doing is exactly what I'm doing right now. You know, just trying to get through the day. Best we take this thing one day at a time. So I wanted to make some clam chowder because I got a box of clams for 50 cents. Don't forget this. And I thought, wow, you know, we're probably not going to be able to find any 50-cent cans. Yeah, we still can. So here's what it looks like so far. This is going to be good. And it's very quick. Clam chowder. 1 slice bacon, so I'm making a salad, so I fried 2 pieces of bacon, and I took some of the bacon fat out. I had some red onions, so I fried the red onion in the bacon fat, and then I added potatoes, and I fried them around, and then I covered with water, and I had like some, I'm going to put a little bit more. You want kind of equal amounts of water. Mine's cooked down to milk. Okay, so I didn't put the salt and pepper yet, so now I want to add 1 cup evaporated milk. This is one thing I really make an effort to stockpile. You can use this a lot of times in place of cream. So I have onions, potatoes, a little bacon fat and water, and equal parts now milk. This is going to be good. And then, you know, I didn't know if these were minced, and they're already minced. So now I just, and it says put them in with the stuff. You know, just put the can in there, and then 1 tablespoon of, it's supposed to be butter, but, you know, margarine is fine too. So this is really, really cheap and easy to make. It looks good, you guys. All right, now let me give you the recipe. Here's the recipe. I'm going to post these on my my Twitter. So all you need is 1 sliced bacon, 2 tablespoons diced onions, 1/4 teaspoon salt, dash of pepper. I put the salt and pepper on. 1 8-ounce can of minced clams. You put those in right before the end. 1 cup milk, 1 tablespoon butter, 1/2 cup water. That wouldn't have been enough, really. I had a pretty big potato, and then 1 small potato. And I've been watching movies. So what I have here is I made some black tea. This chicken is good. Look. Yummy. So now, the vitamin, that is good with a lot of garlic and pepper. Now in San Diego, we're supposed to be expecting transporting of our goods, our food, a disruption in the transport. So I went around and you know, I bought a few last minute things, mostly produce. And they were saying expect it on Thursday. Today is what, Tuesday? You know the old saying, expect a miracle? No, expect a transport. Expect more hell, people, that's what. Okay, so I'm going to make a good salad. So it appears that they also want us eating less meat. Or else we don't have enough meat. I'm not sure which. This is one of the things I had to get, you know, so I would have a little salad. And like every time we walk out of the house, we got to live in fear that we're going to pick something up. And you know, the lowered standard of living because we can't work, that's very disgusting. Okay, so then I have some boiled eggs. This is going to be a pretty hearty little salad. And then some mushrooms. I had some canned mushrooms. Those are good on salads. I also had some asparagus. That would have been good. I feel like all I do is sit in the house and eat. The only other time I can remember it being this bad was when I was pregnant. You know, you have to be careful. You have to eat. As soon as I had my son, I thought, I'm not going to eat anything. So I'll crumble a little bacon. It kind of really put me in a bad mood when I thought about the Vietnam thing. Okay, now we're going to have a little bit of tomatoes. And I have a little cheese. And then in my refrigerator, I have Italian dressing with vinegar. And I have some carrots. Some tasty carrots. I have some capers. And they make the jars really, really little, but you can get them out. They have kind of a sour taste. Somebody said, what are they? They're flower pods. So this soup is made in minutes. Clams are pretty cheap anyway. They have them at Dollar Tree. And then I have some of these onions to go on top. So I didn't put onions in my salad because I had onions, you know, already to go on top with a little good salad dressing. So it's kind of like the video I did with the, I could have put my chicken on my salad. This is good, you gotta try this. This is homemade yogurt, cherry yogurt with homemade yogurt. My yogurt didn't set very well. Sometimes it doesn't. When it does this, I will just make, I will get another, see, look, this is yummy. This is enough food for today and the rest of tomorrow, pretty much. I need to take a bowl out. Oh. This is good. You gotta try this. It's easy to make. It's really kind of like potato soup, you know, with some clams in it. Maybe I can pour it. I hope so. You don't have to make yours this thin. I just like mine thin. It's really tasty and satisfying. And it's not too fishy either. This might be a good thing to stockpile. I just bought it because it was 50% off. Okay. I wanted to mention about the chili I made last night. There was very little meat in it. I just put a 50-cent hamburger that I bought. I bought 16 hamburgers that contain some soy from Kroger's. I want to make sure my freezer is packed full of meat. I have, they have big boxes of hamburgers at Walmart. I think 32 for, now that's 70% hamburger. It's a little more expensive, $20 for 32. So I have bacon, sausage, chicken, hamburger, and then I have some really cheap meat in there, like, you know, chorizo. So I wanted to mention that when I make these big pots of food, there's very little meat in them, so they're cost effective. So you can put a little cheese or a little bacon or a little yogurt. You know, we have to find ways if we're going to have to live this less meat existence, or if something disrupts the transport chain, God forbid, and it probably will. Okay, so the big pots of food would be stuff like stew, soup, or spaghetti. Also like tuna casserole, you know, that makes a lot, and then you eat it the next day. The lima bean soup I made was good, you guys. And then what I'm doing is I'm preparing for 2 years, and I'm moving away from consumerism. That means I'm using up everything I have until it is just totally shot before buying any more. Okay, there was a good video, Repent and Be Ready, Destruction Comes, Mrs. Cindy MP. Here it is, if you guys want to check it out. I tweeted it. Go to Rotostone Twitter or check that out. Okay, so it made a good point, a lot of good points, And one of the things it mentioned was reading Daniel, the book of Daniel. So I went under the videos, audio video books, and I got the book of Daniel audio, and while I was doing my dishes, I was looking for it. And they also have Revelations, and they have the King James version. You know, there's some like wacky men reading it, which I really didn't care for, but it's better than reading it yourself. And so I was studying all kinds of things, and I thought, well, while you're feng shuiing the house, why don't you just listen to these audio books of the Bible? So, things we might want to stockpile, I mean, we should. Honey, because that lasts forever. Yeast, because we can't find any now, but, you know, learning to make your own sourdough starter. Flour, cream, because you can use that. You can put it in your blender and make butter, and nuts. And then in your blender, you can grind meat. Just cut it in chunks and grind it in your blender and make butter. Okay, so I was listening to this book of Daniel, and you know, you've all heard it. And so the king wanted Daniel to eat meat, and he said no, he didn't want to. He wanted to have pulse. I go, well, exactly what is a pulse? Well, it's like beans or legumes. So I looked up the 7 highest protein pulse. Black lentils, green lentils, split peas, navy beans, chickpeas, black beans, and kidney beans. And then to that, if we add potatoes, you've got to have potatoes for your yeast. That's going to make a really good bread. Sweet potatoes, rice, onions and carrots, nuts and seeds. What I'm going to do when I get the nuts and seeds is I'm going to do what my grandmother did, and she got a lot of nuts in the shell. Almonds, pecans, and walnuts, mainly. Macadamia nuts, you know, whatever kind they wanted. Okay, you guys, if you have any good ideas or any comments, we would like to hear them. Please be careful. This is no time to figure it's over. It is not over. It is a nightmare, and it is not over. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and God bless you all.